When I first moved to Japan, one of the most important things for me was building relationships. Parent-child, husband-wife, teacher-student, even teacher-parent relationships. All of these are important everywhere. But I quickly noticed something. Relationships in Japan felt very different from the ones I was used to. At first, the family unit seemed very close. Parents and young children spent so much time together, and the bond was strong. But once the children grew up and moved away, things changed. Meetings between parents and children became much less frequent. You might think that distance is the reason, but actually sometimes it's not. For example, I live only 10 minutes away from my brother-in-law and his wife, yet we only meet maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Why is that? One big reason is busyness. Japanese people work very hard. My brother-in-law runs his own business and works 6 days a week. He rarely takes long holidays. In fact, the only time he ever closed his shop was when he was sick and needed to be hospitalized. He does sometimes take a short trip for 2 or 3 days, but not often. So yes, the reputation that Japanese people work too hard is quite true. Although working conditions have improved compared to the past, many people still hesitate to take pay leave. They worry about troubling their co-workers or looking less committed. That's why most Japanese people take holidays only during national breaks like Golden Week, Obon or New Year, when everyone else is also off. When I join tour groups in Japan for short trips, I noticed something interesting. Most of the people are women friends, retired couples, or mothers traveling with their daughters. Rarely do I see working men in these groups. This is very different from Europe, where most countries guarantee 20 to 30 days of paid leave, and people are encouraged to use it. Taking a holiday is seen as healthy and normal, not selfish. On top of that, Europe is so connected that in just a few hours, you can be in another country. So traveling during long holidays is part of life. But in Japan, with such long working hours and hesitation to take leave, people simply don't have much free time to spend with family or friends. But busyness is not the only challenge. Even when people do find the time, another cultural factor makes relationship in Japan more complicated. That is Honne and Tatemae. Tatemae means the public face, the polite socially expected behavior people show in front of others. For example, smiling, agreeing, or avoiding direct words, even if they don't fully mean it. It's a way of keeping harmony in the group. Honne is the opposite. It means your true feelings and real opinions, which you usually share only with close family or very trusted friends. I learned about this difference in a surprising way. Many years ago, I went mountain climbing with a group of my husband's acquaintances. While climbing, I spoke to a Japanese woman in her 50s. She told me that she had a lot of free time and wanted to work part-time. I thought this was wonderful. After the climb, I asked my husband if there was a vacancy at his cafe, and he said yes. At our next meeting with this woman, I happily told her the good news that she could work at the cafe. But to my horror, she said, "Oh, I wasn't serious. Did you take my words seriously?" I was shocked. I couldn't get over it for a long time. That's when I realized how difficult it is to tell when someone is speaking their honne or just their tatemae. So in Japan, there are actually two layers that make relationships harder to build. First, people are so busy that they have little time to meet. Even with my Mama Tomo, the mothers of my son's friends, it's difficult to see each other. With evenings and weekends filled with family obligations, friendship often get pushed aside simply because of lack of hours in the day. And second, even when people do meet, it often takes a long time before they reveal their honne. Relationships may stay polite and smooth on the surface, but don't always grow deeper quickly. That said, I've noticed that in rural areas, relationships can be quite different. In smaller towns or villages, people often know their neighbors well and interact regularly. There's a sense of community where people naturally check in on each other, share seasonal produce, or help out during local events. While the concepts of honne and tatemae still exist, the smaller, more connected environment often makes it easier to build closer relationships more quickly than in big cities. Together, busyness and the culture of honne and tatemae make building relationships in Japan a real challenge, especially in urban areas where people lead such busy and private lives. I've learned that once trust is built, Japanese friendships and bonds can become very deep and lasting. But reaching that stage takes patience and time. Still, I sometimes wonder, even Japanese people themselves, do they always know what is honne and what is tatemae? What do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next video.